Hey everyone, welcome to this weekly Sidereal Astrology forecast for the week of April 26th through May 2nd, 2021. All right, so right at the beginning of the week, we have a full moon, the second full moon in Virgo, the constellation of improvement and personal development. It has been a very strong time up until just recently for more soul-satisfying things and doing things more important spiritually with all that Pisces energy. But now that we have some active energy with Aries, I think it's great to set some intentions at the beginning of the week around how can we further develop our improvement-oriented side. Routines, habits, health, diet, personal development, very good to set intentions with and continue to move forward here starting this week. Now, Pluto is going retrograde on Tuesday. It's more collective, bigger picture stuff, but maybe starting to take a bit of a pause with some of the deeper energies of life and starting to maybe reconsider some of that deeper stuff. And around Friday, we do have Mercury going into more grounded Taurus, or mind going into the more resourceful, grounded energies of life. But the Sun over Uranus, quite exciting, maybe different. It's a great fiery energy in Aries for some change, some unorthodox, eccentric kind of energy really coming out. And then on Sunday, Mercury will be trining Pluto, so a deep mind and deep communications certainly available at the very end of the week. All right, so let's take a look at all of this here in more detail when we return. All right, so here's the sky for this week. We're going to look at this for each day of the week, starting first with Monday, April 26th. And as you can see here, we are using the visible sky, which is very different from mainstream astrology. And so the signs do change. They are different. For example, this full moon, you may have been expecting to be in Scorpio, but in fact, it is at the very end here of Virgo. So if you are new to true sidereal astrology, definitely check out that link down below for more information. All right, so let's take a look here. First, coming right into the week, we had this full moon. It is the second full moon in Virgo. And this is very common, of course, because Virgo is a very large constellation in the sky. And so it's really, I think, a great time of doing a status check at the beginning of the week. How have things been going this lunar month? So the past 2 weeks, what are some shifts and changes we may want to make? And starting to implement these changes, especially if they do involve some of the Virgo energy. So I'll, of course, make a separate video on this, but Virgo is about improvement and striving towards perfection and refinement and essentially creating more automated or habitual or routine elements in our lives so that we can, develop things and improve things. So great to get into that improvement-oriented side, continue things that involve personal development and building good habits and all this kind of stuff. Very good to start to develop here at the start of the week. Now, here on Monday as well, no major aspects going exact. There might be some energy from Sunday that maybe is about thinking about our values, maybe understanding something a bit about our values with that Mercury-Venus conjunction that we had. So once we do get into the Tuesday time periods, we start to come off of some of that full moon energy. Again, we'll still be in the heightened phase of the lunar month, which is great, and maybe starting to implement some of that Virgo energy. Pluto will be starting to go station retrograde. So this usually does take a very long time for the Pluto energy to be implemented, and it's usually not felt very personally because it's such a slow-moving planet. It's very collective. It deals more with the collective unconscious. But nonetheless, this, let's say, middle part of the week, if there are some things that you do want to kind of go back and maybe take a bit of a pause with, a bit of a break with, that do involve the deeper dimensions, like maybe healing or personal empowerment stuff, just to kind of go and now rework for about the next 6 months, right? To kind of go back and re-examine, rethink, redo some things that do involve that deeper dimension. So again, do give it some time, but sometimes we may notice that some things do shift during the retrograde personally, and so that could be around Tuesday for those of you who want to know more about that deeper stuff and when things might be shifting with that. Could be this early part of the week. Now, Tuesday is when the moon starts to go into Libra, which is all about finding balance in our life. And so I would say Tuesday and even into the early part of Wednesday, very good for finding balance. This could be in our personal lives, finding if there's any areas out of balance, bringing those back into balance, and also in relationships, doing what's right, fair, and coming to agreement, I think can be a great theme here Tuesday and Wednesday in particular. Now, once we do get to the later part of Wednesday and into Thursday, we do have some of that deeper energy. The moon will be going into Scorpio and Ophiuchus, and particularly Thursday. So the moon is our more private self, and it's more secure. But Scorpio and Ophiuchus love to excavate and bring things to the surface that are normally secure, but then may feel a bit insecure. So it is a little bit challenging here, but it's great to see, are there some deeper elements of ourselves, of our feelings, of our inner self that can be exposed, that we can be aware of and perhaps work with, and maybe even do some of this deeper healing type of stuff with, right? So a great time of excavating things, bringing things to the surface on a practical level. It's great for research and uncovering things. There really is this kind of deeper energy about the week, nothing particularly challenging about it, but it's kind of in the background that I think is very good to be implemented pretty much all week long, with Pluto early in the week, with the moon in Scorpio and Ophiuchus midweek, and even this Mercury trine Pluto we'll talk about for the weekend. Now, once we do get to this early Friday time period on the 30th, we'll start to notice Mercury starting to change signs, going from more of the fiery energy, which of course we still do have. We have all these fast-moving planets all week in fiery Aries, so it is a great week for taking that action, that initiative, and doing things that require assertiveness and directness. But we do get a little bit of grounding energy with our minds towards the weekend and onwards. Mercury goes into resourceful Taurus, which is where our minds start to maybe slow down a little bit. Maybe we need to kind of study things one step at a time, or communicate things one step at a time. So Taurus is all about taking that first step before taking the next. That first firm step, make sure everything's firm, grounded before taking the next one. So really good to see things this way, and really good for anything mentally that do involve beauty, aesthetics, design, the natural world, abundance, right? Maybe starting to think about these things, but great to start to maybe work with some of these more natural, grounded elements of life with that Mercury shift. Now, with that grounding energy, there's quite a contrast, because the sun will be over Uranus, and Uranus is quite erratic, and again, this is in fiery Aries. So I would say around Friday, it is great for maybe seeing that there's this new side of ourselves starting to come out that is wanting more freedom, and we're very much probably focused on freedom. And so any area of your life that has been about creating some change, wanting more freedom with, this could be a nice step in the right direction. So around Friday, just noticing more of that individual self-expression. Personally, it could be eccentricities coming out, some uniqueness, right? And then externally, maybe making some changes, right? What's going to lead to more freedom, and what are some things we can focus on that not only give us more freedom, but also speak more to our true self, right? What excites us, right? So it's new, lively, fiery energy, it's excitement, it's eccentric energy, really starts to get activated here this part of the year, and we could notice definitely some shifts in the right direction with some of that, and possibly, very possibly, some new beginnings with more freedom in our lives. All right, so that's around the Friday going into the Saturday time period. This is also where we're probably feeling a little bit of that deeper Ophiuchus energy, but by the later part of Friday, we're probably feeling quite free-spirited, because the moon will have passed over the galactic center out of Ophiuchus, and then for the whole weekend, getting into more of that free-spirited Sagittarius. So a great weekend for expanding those horizons, both mentally and literally. A bit of that free spirit after that deeper energy. And expanding minds, expanding literal horizons is fantastic. And then over the Sunday time period, we do have this this trine with Mercury and Pluto. So Mercury, again, the planet of how we're thinking, is in good harmony with deeper Pluto. So Sunday in particular may be good for, again, uncovering things, maybe research, maybe communicating in a way that's deep, authentic, or candid. Just a good support here to our minds when it comes to the deeper dimensions. All right, and then some minor sextiles this week we'll leave out, not to over confuse things, but I do want to mention that as we do get into next week, so the very end of Sunday, we do have this sun squaring up to Saturn. So just starting to see the reality of things, and to take time with things, right? To see the long term. Anything that does require patience and perseverance going into early next week could be very good to ground. But good to have that kind of long-term perspective there with Sun square Saturn, and healthy reserve to our self-expression in life. All right, but all in all, this week, most important thing, full moon right at the beginning of the week. It's usually a time of making shifts and changes to further develop Virgo, the improvement side of ourself. And the heightened energy of the lunar month at the beginning as we start to implement some of those shifts of awareness. We do have some deeper energy kind of lingering in the background this week that can be utilized with the Pluto retrograde and some of those other transits we talked about. Midweek, we do have that deeper energy with Moon in Ophiuchus and Scorpio. But once we do get to that weekend, a bit of that eccentric self-expression, maybe some change, some freedom in our life in some way, along with a grounded mind starting to come into the mix or thinking about the natural world more. And then over the weekend, along with that deeper energy, starting to feel a bit free-spirited here with the moon in Sagittarius. All right, so everyone have a fantastic week. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to click that like button if you haven't yet. If you're new to the channel, subscribe for more videos like this one, and I'll see you all next week for the next astrology forecast. Take care.